Hi student, how are you? I think all of you are well and staying at home. Today again another topic, that is transistor related to biasing and stability factor. Already I have shared you the lectures of biasing of a transistor and stability factor of transistor. I think all of you have go through this. Okay. If not, so again I am saying this, I will just give us brief idea about biasing and stability factor. After that I will solve a numerical problem related to this, okay, so that you can clear your idea about biasing and stability factor. Okay, what is biasing? Can you remember what is biasing? If not, so again I am saying that biasing means, just you can say that adjustment of proper Q point, or you can say proper operating point of transistor. Okay, so in the previous same I think you have read about the transistor, its characteristics, that means input characteristics and output characteristics. So what is the output characteristics of transistor? Here for biasing concept you need the output characteristics of a transistor. That means you have to know that how output characteristics are prepared. Okay, suppose I am saying you that prepare the output characteristics of transistor in CE configuration. Can you remember what is CE configuration? What? Transistor basically works in three types of configuration. One is CE, CB and CC. CE means common emitter configuration and CB means common base configuration and CC means common collector configuration. Now if I ask you to draw the characteristics curve of a transistor in output characteristics curve of a transistor in CE configuration, then what you have to draw? So first output characteristics. Output characteristics means what? Output characteristics means where your varying parameter will be output component. Now output component of transistor means which component? Which one? That means output current and output voltage. Okay, now if a transistor works in common emitter configuration, just say for example, now which one is your output current? In that case your output current will be IC. Okay, and which one is your output voltage? Your output voltage will be collector emitter voltage, that means VCE. That means if I am asking you that to draw a output characteristics curve of a transistor, then you have to remember that the output current is collector current IC and your collector voltage, that is VCE, collector emitter voltage, whereas your constant parameter is what? Constant parameter is input current. Now in case of common emitter configuration, which one is your input current? Base is input side, that means IB, base current IB is the constant parameter. Okay, now can you remember the characteristics, output characteristics of a transistor in CE configuration? That means first you have to draw a two-dimensional figure having x-axis and y-axis. Okay, and the output characteristics curve of a transistor is like this. Okay, so if it is CE configuration, so your x-axis variable will be voltage, that means VCE, or you can say this VEC, both are same. So collector emitter voltage and your output current will be output current, that is IC. Okay, now why I am saying this? Because biasing has a relation with this output characteristics. Why biasing is needed? Basically, why we use transistor circuit? That means what is the application of transistor circuit? We use transistor as an amplifier. Now what is amplifier, or what do you mean by amplification? Amplification means you have to increase the input value, okay, in such a way that at the output side you have some gain value. That means if you design a transistor in such a way that your input is modified or your input is amplified at the output side of a transistor, then only you can say that the transistor works as an amplifier circuit. Okay. Now the question is, when faithful amplification is achieved? That means always transistor behaves like a faithful amplifier? No. You have to check that in which condition transistor can be act as a faithful amplifier. For this you require the output characteristics curve. Now for output characteristics curve, first you know which are the parameters for output characteristics curve and also in which configuration transistor works. Okay, here we are assuming that transistor works in common emitter configuration. In that case, the output parameters will be output current, that is collector current IC, and the output voltage, that is collector emitter voltage. And this is the output characteristics of a transistor. Okay, now here we get this is this constant parameter is this is IB1 and this is IB2. Okay, say this is IB3 and always IB1 greater than IB2 and greater than IB3. Okay, now what is operating point or Q point? Okay, suppose you consider that this is the maximum point of the voltage, output voltage, this point, say this is this point in x-axis and this is the maximum point of current in y-axis, say this. Okay, now if you join these two line, that means it behaves like a straight line, this line, say IC and VC. If you join this point IC and VC, then you get a point, you get a straight line. Now this straight line is known as load line of a transistor, and the intersecting point of the load line with the output characteristics curve of a transistor is known as Q point or quiescent point of a transistor. Again I am saying, so what is load line? Load line means just maximum point at the x-axis and maximum point at the y-axis. Now maximum point of x-axis means maximum value of VCE, output voltage, and maximum value of output current. So you get 2 points. Now if you join these 2 points, it behaves like a straight line, and this straight line is known as what? This straight line is known as load line. Also it is known as DC load line. Okay. Now see, this straight line has some intersection point with whom? With the output characteristics curve of a transistor. Here you can say that here you have 3 intersecting point. That means you have 3 Q point, because this intersection point is known as quiescent point or Q point. Now in this case you have 3 Q point. So for proper amplification, this all 3 points are considered? No. You have to choose the Q point in such a way that it lies between the active region of a transistor. We all know that the output characteristics of a transistor is divided into 3 regions. Okay, which these 3 regions? These 3 regions are known as saturation region, cutoff region, and active region. Okay, this portion is known as saturation region, this portion, and this region, that means say if it is IB1, IB2 and IB3, that means the region between which lies the under IB3, this region, this is known as cutoff region, and the region which lies the middle of this, the output characteristics curve, this is known as active region. That means here you have to check that which Q point lies in the active point. Okay, and also you have to consider the middle Q point. That's why biasing is needed. That means you have to modify the transistor characteristics or transistor circuit in such a way that you get the faithful amplification, and for faithful amplification you have to choose the Q point in such a way that it lies in the middle of the active region. That means one Q point. That means you cannot choose the different Q point. That means you have to choose only one Q point which lies middle of this region, middle of the which region? Middle of the active region. In that condition, you can achieve the faithful amplification. Okay, that's why biasing is very, very important. Now the question is, if biasing is not done, then what happens? Okay, why biasing is needed? Basically, if biasing is not done, then it is seen that transistor works inefficiently and produces some distortion at the output signal. Suppose you have a sinusoidal signal like this. Okay, now at the output side, if your output is like this, okay, now if you compare this to figure, so this is a distorted output. That means this is not a proper amplified signal, so you cannot consider this signal. That means transistor works inefficiently. Okay, so in that case, to get the efficient work from the transistor, you require biasing. That's why biasing is very, very important. So with biasing, again one important topic is related, that is stabilization, from where stability factor can be calculated. Now what is stabilization? Basically stabilization means maintenance of the stable operating point. That means in the first case, that means in case of biasing, you choose the Q point, which should be the proper Q point. Now you have to maintain this Q point. Maintain this Q point means what? Maintain this Q point means, suppose I'm asking you to perform an experiment to calculate the output characteristics of a transistor. Now what you have to do? First you have to take some loose component, say transistor, and some passive components, and according to circuit you make your circuit, and after that when you calculate the your value, which value, that means output voltage, output current, or input voltage, input current, with the help of multimeter or voltmeter or ammeter. Now if you see that your values are fluctuating, okay, fluctuating means suppose your value is 5.11, again it is showing that 5.12, again it is showing that 5.2, again it is showing that 5. That means if your values are fluctuating in nature, in that case you cannot predict that what should be the proper values of the voltage or current. That means to calculate the value of voltage or current, you require the stable value, you require some stable value. Okay, otherwise calculation is not possible. So in that case stabilization is required. That means if the circuit which you prepare that is not stable in nature, you cannot make your calculation. That's why stabilization is required. Now if stabilization is not done in transistor, then what happens? First you have to check if you know that what are the disadvantage. That means if you know that if you don't have any stable circuit, then what may be the problems. In that case, if you know that these are your problems, so you can rectify your problem by using the stabilization process. That means first you have to know the problems which occur if stabilization not done properly. First is temperature dependence of IC. What is IC? IC means collector current of a transistor. Now we all know that in a transistor, not only forward biased, for reverse bias also we get some small amount of current which is known as reverse leakage current or reverse saturation current, which is denoted as ICO. That means when you consider the collector current expression, you have to consider the leakage current also. That's why we have a expression that collector current IC can be written as beta IB plus 1 plus beta ICO. What is beta? What is beta? Can you remember? Beta is current gain in common emitter configuration. Okay. Now this is the expression of collector current IC. Now from where what we can conclude here, that is it is seen that for every 10 degrees centigrade rise in temperature, the reverse saturation current or reverse leakage current becomes double. That means if temperature increases, and if it is seen that temperature increases from 10 degree to 20 degree, this value of leakage current becomes double. Now if this value becomes double, that means what happens? That means the value of IC increases again. If temperature increases, beta also increases. That means again if beta increases, that means this overall value increases, again IC increases. Again, there is another factor, that is base emitter voltage. It is saying that for VBE, that means base emitter voltage decreases at a rate of 2.5 millivolt per degree centigrade. That means if temperature increases, then it is seen that base emitter voltage decreases. Now base emitter voltage decreases means base voltage decreases. So base voltage decreases means what? Base current decreases. Now if base current decreases, that means again IC decreases. So we can see here that due to this parameter variation of a transistor, automatically the collector current changes. Now if IC changes, that means operating current or operating point will be changed. How operating point will be changed? See, again I am drawing the output characteristics curve of a transistor. Say this is the curve. Now what is your output characteristics? Like this, okay, and this is your Q point. Now if IC changes, that means this point will vary, that means this point will lie here. Now if you again want to draw the load line, that means your operating point shifted. That means at first your operating point was here. Now when IC changes, it is seen that operating point shifts to the right hand side. Okay, suppose your IC is here. Now again if you want to draw a straight line, that means if you want to draw the load line, that means your curve will be like this. That means your operating point is here. That means it is seen that if IC varies, automatically operating point or Q point will be shifted, either this side or this side. Now if Q point shifted, that means this is not a stable. That's why stability is required. That's why stabilization is required. Okay, got my point? That means to make Q point stable, you require that IC should be stable. So to become IC stable, this parameter variation you have to control. Okay, that's why stabilization is required. Again, one parameter is related to this, that is individual variation. When a transistor is replaced by another transistor, suppose you are doing an experiment using transistor. Now suppose your transistor become faulty. Now what you will do? You will replace the transistor with another type of transistor. That means just insert your damaged transistor or faulty transistor and insert the fresh transistor. Now if you replace transistor with another transistor, but the value of beta and VBE is not same for these two transistors, that means beta will be changed or VBE will be changed. Now if beta is changed, that means automatically IC will be changed, or base emitter voltage is changed, IB will be changed. So again IB is changed, automatically IC will be changed. That means you have to control this parameter also. Again, thermal runaway or self-destruction. This is again very important. Do you know what is self-destruction? Actually, depending upon the construction of transistor, the junction temperature that the transistor can withstand, that is fixed. For germanium transistor, it can tolerate up to 60 degree to 100 degree temperature. For silicon transistor, it can tolerate from 150 degree to 2 to 5 degree centigrade temperature. Now if when collector current flows through a transistor, that means automatically heat will be generated. Now if it is seen that there is a huge amount of heat at the junction of the transistor and it crosses the limit that the junction can withstand, in that situation it is seen that junction is so much heated and automatically the collector junction is burned out. Okay, in that case transistor may be damaged, and this type of situation is known as what? This type of situation or this types of phenomena is known as thermal runaway. That means just nothing, just increasing the temperature you can destroy the transistor itself. That's why this process is known as thermal runaway. That means when you design the amplifier circuit using transistor, you have to remember that self-destruction or thermal runaway, this type of phenomena is not occurred. If this type of phenomena is occurred, you cannot get faithful amplification. Okay, that's why you require the stable Q point, and for this you require biasing. So that's why this biasing and stabilization concept is very important for your faithful, if you want to get the faithful amplification. Okay, now say this is your example. So this is the again this stabilization can be done. There are various types of circuit to perform this to generate stabilized circuit. Okay, emitter bias, then collector to based bias, fixed bias. Okay, now in my previous lecture already I have shared notes with you regarding this stability factor, how can you calculate stability factor, and different types of biasing, different types of stabilization technique. Okay, just go through that. Okay, now I will solve a numerical problem regarding this. Say this is given. This figure shows this is a base bias circuit with emitter feedback. Why it is known as base bias with emitter feedback? Why? Just go through the previous notes of biasing. There I have explained this. Okay, now I will solve this numerical. Now here you have to calculate the value of IC and stability factor. Now how can you calculate the IC and stability factor from here? Now see, here there is a loop. Suppose this is A node, this is B node. After that, now if you consider the current direction, that means here A, B via E via G. Okay, now if you apply KVL here, then what is the KVL? Now you can say this VCC will be equal to, if you consider this loop, you can consider VCC from this loop also and also from inner loop also. So I am considering this loop. So your VCC will be IBRB plus this voltage across base, that means base emitter voltage, plus this voltage, that means across RE. That means your VCC can be written as IBRB plus VBE plus IERE. Now again here you have to calculate the value of IC, but in this expression there is no IC. That means you have to manipulate this expression in such a way that automatically IC will come. Again we know IC is equal to beta IB. That means you can replace IB with IC by beta, then you can calculate IC. Again we know IE, emitter current IE is equal to IC plus IB. Now if your base current, here we are considering that base current is very small, that means you can say emitter current IE is almost equivalent to IC. Okay, here it will be IC, not IE equivalent to IE. Okay, just correct this point. Here IE not equals to equivalent to IE is written, but it will be IE is almost equivalent to IC. Okay, now if so you can write this expression like this. So VCC is equal to IC, just put the value of IB here, VBE, and IERE can be replaced by IC into RE. Now here you can easily calculate the IC. So your expression IC is equal to this. Here also if IB, that is base current, is very small, that means again you can say the base emitter voltage is also small, that means you can easily neglect this base emitter voltage. Also in your example, see there is no value given. Suppose your values VB is given to you, then you can consider this. That means then you can say that IC is equal to VCC minus VBE by this. Or suppose you have given that IB value is also given, then you don't require to neglect the value of IB, then you directly put the value of IB here and you get some constant, that means IE is equal to constant plus IC. Here also if VBE is given to you, that you can VCC minus some constant, but if it is not given to you, in that case you can easily neglect VBE and IB. Okay, Now this is the expression of IC. So your first answer IC is equal to this. Now if beta is given to you and RD is given to you, and also as VCC RB is given to you, now from that you can easily calculate the value of IC, but here no values are given to you. That's why just write down the expression here. Now calculation of stability factor. How can you calculate the stability factor? Again we know that the collector current IC is equal to what? Beta IB plus 1 plus beta ICO. Now differentiate this expression with respect to IC. So what you will get? That means del IC by del IC. So your expression will be beta. Del beta is constant here, and considering beta is constant here, remember this point. So del IB by del IC plus 1 plus beta constant del IC plus IC, del ICO by IC. Again from the calculation of stability factor, can you remember that we have calculated 3 stability factor? That is, one is S, next is S dash, and third one is what? S double dash. And S is what? S is del IC by del ICO. Okay, keeping beta and VB constant. Just go through the previous notes where I have attached you, where I have shown you that how can you calculate S, S dash and S double dash. Otherwise you will just think how can you get this value. Okay, just go through the previous notes. And what is S dash? S dash is equal to del IC by del beta, and S double dash is equal to S del IC by del VBE. Now see here, your expression is just like reverse. Del ICO by IC, that means 1 by S, just put here. So if you minimize this expression after the calculating, you get S is equal to 1 plus beta 1 minus beta del IB by IC. This is the expression of stability factor. But here in this case, that means in this given circuit, the expression of stability factor is this. That means del IB by del IC. But you can easily calculate what is the value of del IB by del IC from this expression. From this circuit, that means from this circuit is given to you. So from here, that means same expression, applying KVL, this you can write this again. Here we know IE is equal to IB plus IC. Now here don't neglect IB, just put down just put IE is equal to this, and after that you will get an expression, that is IB is equal to this. Okay, now if you differentiate IB with respect to IC, why you differentiate IB with respect to IC? Because in your expression of stability factor you have a term del IB by del IC. Now if you know what is the value of del IB by del IC, then you can easily put the value here, and after that you can calculate the stability factor. That's why you have to represent this expression in such a way that this expression will come in terms of IB. Okay, now if you know IB, so again you differentiate this with respect to IC. So if you differentiate this expression with respect to IC, that means if you are differentiating with respect to IC, that means VCC is constant. So if you differentiate constant value, your result is what? 0. Again if you are differentiate constant value, your result is 0. That's why it is written as 0 minus 0. Now IC RE, here RE is constant. Del IC by del IC means what? 1. So this is your ultimate expression, and your result is del IB by del IC is equal to what? Minus RE divided by RB plus RE. Now put the value, that means put the value of del IB by del IC, that is equal to minus RE by RB plus RB in which expression? Stability factor expression. Okay, now if you put the value of del IB by del IC here, you get S is equal to 1 plus beta 1 minus this. Now minus minus what? Plus. So your value of stability factor S is equal to 1 plus beta divided by 1 plus beta RE divided by RB plus RE. This is the ultimate expression of stability factor. Now in this expression, if I am asking you that calculate S dash. Now what is S dash? Del IC by del beta. Okay, del IC by del beta, that means here you have to differentiate this del IC with respect to del beta, del IC by del beta. Then again you get one expression after that. you have to calculate S dash. That means if you are asked that only calculate stability factor S, then you have to represent this expression in such a way. But if you are asked that you have to calculate S dash, then you have to manipulate this expression in such a way that your expression comes in terms of S dash or S double dash. That's why just go through the previous note. How can you calculate S dash, S double dash? Okay. And if you know the value of stability factor, then you see that in your expression of stability factor, which one is your unknown variable, because your beta is constant. Now in this case, your unknown variable is del IB by del IC, and you can easily calculate del IB by del IC from your given example, which I have done here, okay, in this process. So this is one example. I will share you some more example related to biasing problem, and you also try this type of example in your yourself. Okay. Mainly the application of biasing circuit or stabilization circuit is basically to get a proper faithful amplification using transistor circuit. Okay.